Hi, Warriors. Fed Day. Is Jay Paul at the presser going to be nice or mean? What do you think? Hi, RC. RJP Pie. Welcome to Face. Ryan, how you doing today? Bran, how you doing? Ingmar, AJ, everybody. So, dollar's coming back. Made a new low for the move and trying to turn. I don't know if I'd go to bananas in front of the Fed, but I'll probably hold this long position in the Dixie through it. So I wanted to start off with Aussie because dollar's pulling back. And good morning to you, Ryan. How are you? Hi, Blake.
Morning, sir. How you doing?
Good morning,
Okay,
Coach.
good, man. Just trading out of a
Driving.
paper bag. Uh, anyway, I mean, it's a nice little pullback if you're bullish. Correcting this wave, checking a breakout, risk on a bit today. Uh, what do you think with Aussie? Is this a
Yeah, we're
zone for you?
talking about this one. Maybe if we get a little bit lower, I've got a zone around about that those prior lows, 60,
Two and a
80,
half.
whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Um, if we can get down there, of course. The key thing is though, we still can't crack that 84. We couldn't even put a test on that on those
64?
February highs. Yeah,
Yeah.
the 64. Couldn't even get a
Okay.
test up there yesterday. So it's still not out the woods in terms of the longer downtrend. But it is stepping up. We stepped up
Yeah.
from 62 to 62.60. If we find support here, 63.20s, that'll be another
Yeah.
step up.
Yeah.
That sets it potentially up. I don't know if that plays
Well,
into your
that
drives
was
situation.
a breakout at
Yeah.
320. So,
So hold
it looks,
here. You got
yeah.
three steps up, and that looks. I don't really understand your drives, but that looks like we might get a third drive from that point.
Oh, if you go from here, and
Yeah,
then here,
yeah.
yeah.
And
But
if
you
that
have
goes
the,
through 64, that might be the runner.
yeah, through 64, definitely. All right. And Euro coming back a little bit, but holding that 50-day on the 4 hour.
Yeah,
Um,
and
you
that
know,
70 level, bang on
yeah,
again.
yeah.
That's my
Under
big
this
number.
low, under this low, what would be the next level? 108.70 low
30.
here, 30. Okay. All
Yeah,
right. So is that where you're looking to be a buyer above this low if you get a dip on the Fed? Um,
yeah.
let's get, instead of trying, we're trying to figure out what we're going to do after the Fed mainly, right?
Yeah,
Not before the Fed. So
yeah.
what are your expectations in the presser? I guess it's a done deal about, you know, no rate change. So it's all going to be about the press conference.
Yeah, and to be honest, and this isn't going to sound good because I know you Yanks like a bit of excitement, but I'm not expecting much from the Fed, unfortunately.
Okay.
And that's
Do
yeah,
Boo!
you do you do you think they're
Boo!
behind the curve like some people do, Ryan?
no, I think he's played a pretty solid game, pal.
Okay.
Um, yeah, sometimes you can question him. You got to think, well, why was your last cut of 50? If you then go on pause, why were you getting out the big guns and then all of a sudden you're stopping? So
Yeah.
they're as much as they want to be in control, they're doing the same as us. They have to be guided by the data, so they're watching the same crap we are,
Okay.
except they've got their finger on bigger buttons than we have. No, I think he's right to pause. Inflation isn't
Continue.
at
I,
target.
I
It
mean,
isn't
when do
at
the
target.
tariffs go into effect? April 2nd? We'll start seeing
Yeah,
price increases. Okay, so I mean, how could he do anything until he sees it's a
if
one-off?
if they go into if we go into tariffs on April the 2nd, we were going into
Okay,
tariffs February the
uh,
2nd, and then March the
yeah,
2nd, and then now we've got April the 2nd. And you got to
three
remember
drives, three
three
drives
drives
to
on
a
tariffs.
tariff.
Copyright that.
All right, that's a great point. Will he delay him again?
you've got to remember his end game isn't tariffs. His end game is
Yeah,
to get a deal done.
yeah,
So if it happens, it happens. The market's probably ready for it by now.
yeah.
Um,
You would think so.
you would think so. So any inflation impact is probably going to be just fleeting. But we had inflation stickiness long before Trump even won the election.
True.
4 years, core inflation's been above 3%.
Yeah,
Okay, that's nothing to do with Trump.
right. All right. Well, since we're on commodity currencies, I look at this. If this low holds, it almost has kind of a bullish look to it. We haven't been able to take out this low, though the dollar has made successive new lows. Are we going to come out of here and blast one more time? I think I saw something from Grega yesterday. He said if he was bullish a dollar, I think this is what he wants to buy. Am I correct, Blake? Do you remember that?
Yeah, we're all looking at this. It's the same triangle. I could pull it up on
Okay.
Forex Analytics, and I'll do it
All right.
when I take
All
over.
right.
But
So I
yeah,
figure it's these lines connecting the lows and these at the highs, right? Well,
yeah,
we'll
it's a big
see
triangle. Yeah, and his wave count suggested that we'd bounce, which we did.
from
And
here.
yeah, for now anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway, another coin flip depending upon the Fed most likely, right? Yen making, well, not quite new recovery highs. My target on this trade was here because it's the top of the wedge. The moving average comes in lower than that.
channel
So,
resistance is lower than that as well.
okay.
And the,
Gold doing it again. Silver not done. And let's see what happens. This is really the game, right?
yeah,
So we'll see. I mean, if we start taking out this little uptrend that it's been in, then you could be talking about sub 4%. Okay.
I
But
think today's going to be about the shorter end.
okay, the 2 year.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And all right. So that's what's leading the way. I don't have them up here, but does the chart look much different? 2 and 10s?
No, it looks pretty similar, but I think what one thing we got to look at from the Fed because we're getting the dots and all that sort of stuff is what they do with growth and inflation. Is growth
Yeah.
forecast coming down, inflation forecasts going up or staying sticky? But the dots, I think, are gonna not going to move, but I think they might just squeeze closer together to signify this pause.
Okay.
So you might
Oh,
get some of the the bigger doves and hawks just bringing their expectations more in line, perhaps. But 2 year yields, if you get a rally up above 410, getting towards 420, that's putting it on where the Fed rates are. And the Fed, all being well, want to get rates back down. So any rally you get in the short end up to where rates are now, you're probably going to find buyers coming in on the price and buying the dip. Just like we got 10 years when we said when it was getting up 450, 460s, that's going to
yeah.
be a gift because rates are going to continue to come down.
Okay. Why don't we address risk here? So to me, it looks like, A, we're forming a B. That may have been it at 56 and, up into OPEX and maybe into the um, end of the month. So are we in that phase? It's a little early for end of month stuff. That'll start happening next week,
Yeah,
Brian.
I think so. Yeah, get
Oh,
over the Fed and everything else this week, and we'll be banging the zone because it's also obviously going to be end of quarter, end of the first quarter, so it's bigger than your normal just end of month.
okay.
A lot of fiscal years flipping.
I noticed yesterday the Russell gave back less, which is a little bit of a change. I don't know. I can't rally to 210. I'm still in the camp that you have to sell this rally in the next week or so. Uh, some people think we bottom. What makes me think that we didn't bottom is a lot of confirmed lows. But where's your head at on risk, Blake? I'll bring you in here now.
On risk.
Yeah,
I don't, I mean, we're just consolidating
right.
lower. I mean, there's no bounce. And unless we get above 5,700, and I'm talking S&P, obviously, just in general, I would not be on the long side. And I think we have a bear flag pattern. So that's where I'm at in risk. This is one of the, well, I'll show you, Dale. This is,
Okay, go ahead.
well, quick. Yeah, I'll grab it and I'll just share with you guys what I'm thinking. Sorry, I was actually just looking at something else. Did you guys see the Turkish lira overnight? Oh my God, it's a disaster. I'll share with you guys what happened there. But
So that's the lira getting stronger, right?
No,
Or we got
no,
weaker?
I don't think the lira is ever going to get stronger.
So
Uh,
it's funny. I asked the guy that was with us yesterday. Okan lives in Turkey, and
oh,
everyone's been repatriating. So I actually asked him yesterday, are people even repatriating to the lira? And he said no. So
well, yeah, I mean, you should see the lira. What happened today? I'll show you
all
guys here in
right,
a second. I was reading on. So basically, Arrow, and it's funny. Steve isn't here now, so I was going to ask him because he's
he's
always
up
been
on
like,
Turkey. Yeah,
well, I
the
mean, he lives
Turks
in
and the
Greece.
Greeks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, he has a lot of Turkish friends, and obviously they live. It's like, it's like, when you're in Turkey. I mean, even though they're two countries that are always fighting, it's as close as me and you in California and Arizona, Dale. So,
well, yeah,
I
five
mean,
hours. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, you're literally like in the next country over. In some
yeah,
cases, you're on the border. But the fact of the matter is that the lira is getting killed once again. Erdogan basically detained his main rival. So Erdogan's never going to go out of power. The lira is going to stay weak forever. Blah 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 blah. And you should see what happened with the lira. But this is how I'm
yeah.
looking at the
Okay,
S&P. I think it's a bear flag. I talked a lot yesterday to the Forex Analytics subscribers about not being on the long side while we're below 5,700. And even if we get above 5,700, we're talking now maybe the 38% retracement. We start, probing what I believe is flag support. Then you have to realize that this is a very shallow bounce.
correction.
And
Yeah,
yeah, and that means the next move
it's weak.
is probably down. Correct. Yeah,
Yeah,
the next move is probably this direction. Unless unless we can get above that 38% retracement, then you're talking about the underside of the broken previous channel, which would be around, back at the 618 retracement, which
yeah. I have a
again,
lot of
I don't
confluence there. I have a
yeah,
lot.
but
Yeah,
it's a 618 previous support. It'd be great if we get up there. But here's the thing, Dale, and this is the conversation I had the last 2 days with our Forex Analytics subscribers. This is the exact conversation. The Pavlovian response for the market is to buy the crap out of it when we're down 10%, right? I mean, you're down 10%, you buy the stock market, you're going to make a killing. You're going to make money. It's almost guaranteed. That's what the market believes. But let's also realize after 180% return, well, actually, I'm sorry, I got to go back to COVID. So I went a little too far there. Um, you know, as after COVID, 180% return in the last 4 years, you have a 10% correction. I
nothing.
still don't think it's enough. I still think the market's got a lot of fluff. I still think the market's going to be sold into. And it's not like we have an easier economic environment we're going to be dealing with. You guys do understand that this tariff game is real. And you do understand that the prices are going to go higher for a lot of things and businesses are going to clamp down and sentiment is changing. So I don't think that if we have this little 10% correction, I don't think it's over yet. And I think that as long as we stay below like this 200 DMA, you can see it right here in the S&P. It comes in at the 38% retracement, 57, call it 57.75. We stay below that, I would not want to be on the long side. I'm not saying that we can't rally. I mean, shit. Trump could backtrack all of his tariff stuff by April or March, whatever the end of March is, before April 1st. Backtrack everything, and stock market rallies to all-time highs. But in this current environment, I'd be very skeptical about trying to chase this market higher because everybody is. I cannot tell you how many people are just long and have been long in the last couple of days. It's amazing. I'm like, wait, no one's bearish anymore? You got your 10% correction. We're not going to be a bear. That's it. It's over. You know, the market's over. This is time that we go to all-time highs. And everybody's talking about seasonality. Oh, you know, now we're in a period where markets always rally. You know, again, it's the Pavlovian response. If I take
it's
every
recency
single day,
bias.
every single day, I take my dog food at 7:15 a.m. and my dog is slobbering all over the place until I give it food every freaking morning. And that's what we're getting here every damn day. And it does every day. And this is the same thing. It's the same thing. So, and there's one day where you don't show up and it's 7:15 a.m. and the dog starts going freaking out. And that's what's going to happen with this market if we don't get a rally soon. Anyway, that's a silly, I guess, a silly way to explain it, but that's really what's in essence happening right now as far as risk. But we should really be talking about the FOMC. But I want to show you what happened with the lira. If you guys want to see what.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I'm buying liras today. Just so you guys know, this will be the first time in a few years I'm going to start buying lira today. What do you think, Ryan? This is the time to get long?
Look, you have two drives.
Yeah. 8 years apart.
I mean, until I tell you guys,
it's diverging, Blake. Oh no, it's not. It's confirming.
The day Erdogan dies, and I don't obviously I don't like wish anybody dead, but you know, I mean, hey, the day that guy dies, I'm buying this crap out of the lira.
Hey,
I don't care what it is.
It's a good time to go to Turkey on holiday.
I think it's a good time anytime. I mean, why aren't we all visiting Istanbul right now? I mean,
lovely place, Turkey.
Let's all get on the Midnight Express.
There we go. Let's and as long as it's not on the Orient Express. So yeah,
the Midnight Express.
The Midnight Express. There we go. But anyway, that's what's happening with the lira, as I mentioned. But I do want to talk about what's happening with the euro. So everybody, we had a long conversation yesterday in the Forex Analytix chat room. And just by the way, if you guys not know, I'm buying dips. I bought the euro about 40 actually an hour ago. I sold it just before I started talking, just scalping it on the long side. Why? It's in a bullish wedge, right? And until this changes, I'm not changing. But I want to show you guys just something real specific. This is a long-term triangle in the euro. That is the trend line from 160 all the way down to where we're at. I think the euro is going to trade up to 111. And the way that things are looking right now, and the way it was looking yesterday, we were nudging ourselves right up against these highs. Looks like we're going to be chasing it higher. Now, will the Fed give us the fodder to be, short dollars, long euros today? What do you think, Ryan? Do you think the Fed's going to give us enough to be dovish, enough to where we need to sell dollars today? I know you're not expecting a lot, but
no, I'm not expecting a lot. It doesn't mean we're not going to get anything.
Sure. Yeah.
There's two ways of thinking about it. Okay, we know, like you've been saying, the market is in a negative mood at the moment. It's looking for weak data. It's looking for the Fed to be sooner on cuts. Could Powell push back against that and say, hey, you don't need to get too bearish on the US because we're doing okay? He may do that. But also, the market doing that is artificially loosening financial conditions. It's easing for them without them having to do anything.
This is a great point, Ryan.
So it's doing a job. So he can, as long as we're not seeing 20% corrections and the dollar falling 30%, anything stupid, he's probably happy to let it go. This is just the market doing what markets do. But on the other side, how worried are they about inflation not getting back to target, and how worried are they that they're going to have to keep rates on hold for longer than they want to?
And that's the question, because it's obviously percolating again.
How about what RJP is suggesting? That would be that's an interesting twist. He could announce the end of QT.
Yeah,
I think that's the market's expecting that over the next couple of months. I think it's premature, right, Ryan?
Give it to him now.
Well,
He could
You know?
do. He could do.
Yeah.
But that's artificial easing. That's saying
Okay.
to the market, we're not going to cut rates, but we're still going to, give it a little bit of a
Right.
nudge by not doing
So,
QT anymore, slowing down QT. So he may hint. I don't think he drops it the bond today that
Yeah.
they're ending it. But I think we might get a hint that that's something they're looking at maybe over the next few months, depending
Yeah.
on the developments. Blah blah blah. So I'm expecting Powell to do his usual. He's going to walk down the middle of the line. He'll take a little step either side, bearish, bullish, hawkish, dovish, and at the end of it, we'll come out of it and go, well, that was a waste of time. Nothing's happened.
Right.
We'll
Okay.
remain hopeful. We'll remain hopeful.
So look, I'm gonna give you guys my non-farm payroll playbook today. I'm gonna do it. This is a free show, and I normally wouldn't do this, but before I do this, you have to hear my pitch, and then I'm gonna give you my non-farm payroll playbook. So if you guys want to hear it, you got to stick around for a second. If you're not in a community like what we're doing here in Forex Analytics and talking about all of this stuff, we were just having a conversation with Lucas. He imports, exports stuff globally, and we were talking about tariffs, and we were talking about the lira, and you can go over to the newsroom and go, what the hell happened with the lira? Oh shit, that's what happened with the lira. If you're not in a place like this, you should be. So it's $1 for 10 days to be part of the Forex Analytics community. Why don't you try it out? Now, the best thing to do.
Can I just add, Blake? $1 for 10 days, and you get a week like this week where you got 6 central banks. You cover so much for a buck.
Yeah. And why don't you try it out and come in the community and say hi? And then, but one of the best things you can do, you want to take advantage of the volatility, is be part of the trader funding program. Doesn't matter where you're at. It used to be non-US traders could do this, but doesn't matter where you're at. If you want access to large amounts of capital immediately, you can actually access up to $100,000 worth of capital. These are the different fees and the different plans. Plus, you get Forex Analytics on top of that. If you want to go the more inexpensive route, you want to take a one-step assessment. That means you have to make 10%, but you can't lose more than 6% on a trailing drawdown basis without any time limits. You think about that. Wait, all I have to make is 10%, and I can't lose more than 6%. And I have unlimited time to do it. Yeah, check out the one-step assessment, because then you get Forex Analytics for longer, and you can access up to $1 million. So you guys should check out the trader funding program. Okay, now that I've said my pitch, let me tell you guys exactly what I'm thinking here. So Dale, did you looked at gold and you're like, oh, hey, gold's at highs, right? It is.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
All right. Here's a weekly chart. That's gold going into an acceleration phase. Now, that's the channel that we've been following for, obviously since last year. So here's the daily chart, and you can say, oh, wow, we are accelerating past that. Now, if you look at the 4-hour chart, you can see what happened today. We actually rallied. This is zoomed in, obviously. You can
Nice.
zoom all the way out.
Throwover.
It's a throwover, but we held.
Yeah.
Just a couple hours ago. Literally came down and bounced, right?
Yeah.
So if we break lower in gold, I am pretty dead set on buying dollars. That means that I'll be shorting euro dollar, I'll be shorting sterling, probably shorting sterling more than euro. Because I think the gold down, dollar up is it's kind of that correlation is coming back now that everybody's become tariff numb to some extent. So if gold breaks down back below, like, let's say 30.20, I'm probably going to be buying some dollars in one way, shape, or form. I'm not really 100% sure yet, but I don't want to sell euros. Euros is what I want to buy, especially if gold accelerates to the upside. See, we are now in an acceleration phase in gold where gold can start trading up to, we'll start looking at round numbers. I mean, 3,100, 3,200. If this breakout continues, we're going to go into a blow off top type of, who knows how freaking high gold will go. I mean, there's no bearish argument to gold right now. And I haven't figured one out, and it's obviously accelerating higher and it won't stop. So we're now getting to a point where people are going to start chasing it. They could. So if we reach for 3,100, 3,200, what's going to happen to the euro? Well, I think the euro trades to 110, 111, 112, who knows? So I'm going to be watching gold today. Gold's my cue. And gold's my cue, and that's how that's going to tell me what I should be doing with the dollar, or confirming what I'm doing with the dollar. But that's my NFP, or my NFP, my FOMC playbook today, because I'm like you, Ryan. I don't think the Fed's going to do a whole lot, but that doesn't mean the market's not going to react, and the market won't find reasons to react, if that makes sense. But I'm gonna let gold do my confirming for me, and hopefully that makes sense to you. And hopefully you guys jump in the Forex Analytics community in one way, shape, or form.
And you know what? You can also trade the throwover. If we negate it, that's a signal.
Oh, you short the shit out of gold.
Break, yeah,
right. And because you know where your risk is above today's highs.
Yeah, that's a great look. I love throwovers because even if I wasn't there for it, it sets up something for me to pay attention to if negated. So
AJ just said, Blake, gold can go down if the Fed is hawkish. Right. And what else would happen, AJ?
Dollar go up.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll be buying dollars, like shorting sterling when it breaks through channel support. Exactly, AJ. You got it. Now you understand my thought. So, and there's channel support in sterling. Guys, if you're not having these conversations with us like all day long, every day, you're missing out. I'm sorry. You can go run around Twitter or some community and trying to talk about random people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Sure, go ahead. Have fun. You're going to be lost like a dog chasing its own tail in circles. But you should be
approaching an
talking around with other people. What?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and not that many people have been around as long as us.
Oh no. I mean, it's funny.
Our show. I mean,
no, our show, no, and us in general. I mean, how? Again, I was at a St. Patrick's Day party, talking to the ex-head currency trader from Morgan Stanley, who my son is dating his daughter for the last 6 months, and we were talking about people that we've known for the last 20 some odd years. When else do you get networks of people like that? You don't. So if we're obviously, we've been around the block a few times. We know what we're doing and we know what we're talking about. So why don't you be in the community with us?
Astra just gave us a great testimonial.
Thank you. I should be looking around if we have any data coming out right now, not immediately. Ryan, hey, last minute thoughts before we wrap things up for the day.
Last minute thoughts. Just be careful if you're trading anything with dollar attached to it just over the next few hours, unless we get any big headlines. Liquidity is going to ebb. The market isn't going to push the envelope the closer we get to the Fed. So don't get stuck in something you're going to have to watch for hours and it doesn't go anywhere. Get your charts ready, plot your levels where you would trade if there's moves over the Fed, and just wait for those, just like you've set out, Blake.
So one of the things I learned when I traded with the Gelos, group for, watching these guys just move, tens of millions of dollars, like in positions, in and out for years. And I was not trading the same size they were. It all comes down to one thing and one thing only. It might have been the right idea. It's just the wrong time. So get out, sever your losses, cut them quick. And doesn't mean you ditch that trade or that idea. You can always come back to it. You're a trader, for Christ's sake. So like what Ryan's saying, if you're wrong, get out. Get out, take your loss, and let's reassess and figure it out. That's really what the best guys and gals that I've ever met in my last 29 years of trading have ever done. The best traders out there, they don't sit around in losses for a long time. So
no, they don't. Difference between pros and amateurs are pros know how to lose, so they have money left to be right with. That's right. Really the key.
Yeah, and I mean, look, you can look at our close patterns in play over 8 years. This is team wide. We lose 47% of the time. Out of 8 years worth of data, or out of the whole team, we lose 47% of the time, and still up a silly amount return wise. Why? Because it's all about risk management, and it's all about understanding, like, hey, risk management, you're wrong, you get out where you're supposed to get out. You take your loss and you move along to the next idea. That's it. It's simple. It's just most people struggle with that because they've been doing the markets too long where they think they're right, but it's wrong. The market's always right. Always. You're wrong. So just take your lump and move along. Anyway, with all that being said, I'll see you guys in the chat room. I'll see you actually on the Morning Edge in 45 minutes. Ryan, you're a rock star. I know not having Hey-Man,
your better half.
Yeah. I know he's in Japan visiting his grandbaby, but man, I'm sure it's you doing it on your own for the next few weeks has been tougher. So thanks for doing that.
I'm gonna try and make up for it tomorrow. I've got Michael Brown coming in. He's going to moan about the Bank of England for an hour.
Oh shit, he's going to moan about some football too, I'm sure.
Hey Blake, I just saw a story come in before I get to talking to Nargis. Do you remember that comedian called Carrot Top?
Yeah, I've actually seen him in live. We actually had him at one of our trading events in 2000.
Wow.
He spoke at our convention, and I met him in person. And that dude is like real. Back then he was like ripped. He was like I think it was drug ripped. I think like doing too much drugs.
I heard he committed suicide on stage yesterday. He jumped into a juicer.
Oh God, you got me. All right.
Anyway, I made that up. I'll take full responsibility for being sued for it. Whatever. I don't know how, I don't know how my
good luck at FOMC, everybody.
All right, everyone. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Brian. Thank you, Blake.
Thanks, mate.
All right. Welcome, Nargis. Do you have some big downside numbers for us today?
Hi, Dale. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Nargis?
I am good. Thank you very much. I hope you guys are doing well.
Yeah. Oh, look, we're going to start with Elon. Okay.
I mean, yeah, this is the most hot topic, right?
Yeah.
Elon and Tesla.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and Doge, of course. So,
yeah.
So this was your talk, and from, all sideways, then you had this ferocious move, tested back, and, like on a two drive or W, it went up, tested a new high, 485. The actual high was 488, and after that, it's trying to test down, just like NVIDIA. So this is where it is testing, and there's a gap. It filled in the, like a few days ago, there was Globex low 210.52, and the gap is 214.74. So that didn't fill.
You're looking for buying opportunities here, because I see two drives. Yes. I see the one in 2021, and I see the one that we had last year. And so we should dig in our heels here pretty soon then, right?
Yeah. So the only tricky part would be, will they actually fill the gap, or they will just reverse back from 225? So, that the trick is always there, because maybe you want the least participants and then want people to chase. That can happen. But the idea is, early 200s, this could be a good chance to at least give it a bounce, if not bottoming and all. Bottoming is always in a hindsight, in my opinion. Once you get tested and all that stuff, then you can say, hey, it bottomed. So first you just go there. So this is how I was looking at it. And so far it hasn't broken this low. And this is your, what do you call that? Last gap. October. Last October earnings, and this is your election. So it tackled the election. Only thing is, the October earnings is remaining. It almost came, like the upper gap. It filled, but not the actual gap. So it could satisfy, if it wants to. So it's just trying that. So one thing I would like to say here is 252 is a very important number. So as long as it is trading above it, even for a bounce, it will try to test higher. And then after that, we see whether it is bottom, like, to see a larger ABC, and then see whether it wants to go away from, or rather continue the rally, because this is a big fall. So just testing itself would give some, good, maybe lot of this thing,
You know,
75 points, 100 points, all those things.
okay, so
And
Tesla's pretty specific. What about this, Nargis? Do you think that the correction or the sell-off, the 10% sell-off, is over, or we're just going to get a corrective bounce off of this and then have another wave to the downside?
I that can happen, because I'm just right now, 61, 63 is where, remember, if we talked, when we had talked earlier, I had 59.29 to 62.41, a range bound thing. So it used to come to 59.29 zone, and it used to kept bouncing there. It happened 3-4 times, and then
Right.
61, 63 kept rejecting. 3 times it rejected, if I'm not wrong. And from there it came and it broke 59.29. So as long as we are below 59.29, there is weakness.
Okay.
But
That's
since it has,
61.8 back as well. And trend
yeah,
lines.
yes,
I have a lot of
yes.
confidence. Most bears don't think it has enough juice to get up there. They're waiting to sell at 38%, which is about 57.70 or so. They're
50,
not looking for
57.
much.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are right. But then you know how ES it is. It's a beast, right? It likes extreme on the downside, it likes extreme on the upside. So on the downside, if you want to look, then 56.25 is what I'm looking at. 56.25, it is above it. We'll try to rally towards, your 57.70 to 5800 to 15, almost towards 6,000, where it broke the daily,
Yeah.
So that can happen, just in terms of a relief rally. But if it is trading below 56.25, then the exposure to 54.77 to 52.50 is there. That is your lower extensions coming in to test from here to here. These are your lower numbers, So this area is still exposed, because as we know, ES likes the extreme. It could come all the way to 53.30 to 52.50, and it will be done, it will have cancelled all the move it done from last October, or from that time frame. And then
Okay.
it can do that. So right now this is your 56.25 is what I am looking at to go up or go down. MQ generally is a little bit weaker, with the Mag 7 complete weak. Apple being the most, suddenly it was the most strongest, and now it's the most weakest. So that's where I'm trying to see 3 things, or rather 4 things. One is ES, MQ, Tesla, and Apple, how they come together when things are happening. If they come, all 4 of them come together at a number, and it satisfies, then we can go with a positive assumption of a bottom and then continue going up. And then in a hindsight, we can say, oh, we bottomed after the test, a retest, and all that. So Tesla, I'm looking at the gap, and maybe a little bit lower, because it hit 210.52 during the Globex time. Apple, I'm thinking 206 to
Right now we're
210.
looking at your
Yeah,
symbol search if you see your page. Okay. All right.
sorry,
Yep.
sorry.
Now we have
I
Apple.
was, yes.
That's
So
okay.
Apple, basically, see this, it is trying to, normalize this one here. So if by any chance it doesn't like here, and it wants to break this 210 or 20206, then it may come down to 200 to, oh my God, it has a gap.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
where
but
it's
let's not
going.
go there. Let's not
Nargis.
go there. It's, it will
It
freak
is
people
going
out.
there. It is.
Yeah, yes. But I was looking around
By July.
192 July.
Yeah, by
July.
July.
Yeah, it is very possible, because I definitely saw lower in Apple, and it was definitely below 200.
Where
So
would you
that's why
sell a rally if it? Okay, so you're bearish, Apple. Where would you sell a rally?
sell a rally. I will sell around a test for around, most likely I want to test 6,000 or close to it. 5,800 to 6,000. If it 59.29, we'll see how it wants to
so
react.
you're going to use the S&P as a cue
Yes.
for, and then you'll look at it, what Apple has done after.
Oh yeah, all four of
I
them
do
together.
that a lot too.
Yeah.
I do that a lot too.
Yes,
where
because
something's
Apple
not clear. Go ahead.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Apple,
You want to talk
for
today.
example, yeah, Apple and Tesla for me are not just stocks, right? They're indicators. The ES, NQ, and these two, they come together and they give you the full information. So it's very important to look for all four of them together, and they give you a very good indication of what it wants to do. So, for example, Apple was going till 250. It was single-handedly holding the S&P and NQ and everything when Tesla was falling down. Everything else was falling down. It went to 250, and then suddenly it cracked, and in 2-3 days it was at 210, right? So that tells me that there's a certain weakness which is there. Of course, a bounce rally is due, and it can happen. But if Tesla is not able to, Apple is not able to hold 211, then I'm definitely looking at this purple line and then maybe lower, depending on how things go. As you said, July, it's probably it can happen. But this is the first quarter. First quarter of the year, we are in quad witching right now, and new president, and lot of things going on. So I think people are also.
Why isn't NVIDIA included in your list?
No, NVIDIA is there. Of course, it is there.
No, I mean, but you're putting more. You're saying you're putting the weight on Tesla and Apple. Why not NVIDIA?
I haven't seen NVIDIA be a very solid indicator to tell you what the market may be doing. Okay. If I can be right, it can become like that, but yet so far not yet. Earlier it was Boeing and Apple. They used to rotate between the two to run, and you because Dow YM is the one which actually bottoms first. It craps first also. But now Boeing is gone. God knows where it is gone, but it is gone.
Well, I think the lesson in Apple is that people learned it wasn't a 90-day T-bill, because they were rotating out of chips and other Mag 7 stocks and buying Apple for safety. They thought it was a safe trade. That was their haven. It's not a haven. It's an Apple.
Yeah, so that's one of the reason I look at those two to give me a general marketing indicator basically. And NVIDIA is it is also trying to relax, because when you move too fast, pre split, it was 440. I mean, it ran too fast from 157 to 440. Then from 440, it ran directly to 1250, right? That was a ferocious move. No real estate left, even if it wants to go. In the old times, we used to do Bollinger Bands.
Yeah.
If you see now that Bollinger Band is totally invalidated because the price is too much out there, right, in the space. So now, so they're trying to do all that, come and normalize and fix the technicals, if I may say so that way. And then after that, we may see. I'm thinking that 62.41 is still not hit, and it tried to take out 61.63. So I'm still hoping to get that maybe after the first half, possibly, once everything settles down. And what happens around this 5,300 or 5,250 to 56.25, if we go there below 56.25.
You have any numbers at 4,900?
Oh, yes. I mean, you can go all the way till 4,200, Dale, because all the gaps are all the way there, right? Okay. So this is your 5,300 going on all the way, and see this.
Oh, so you do have 48. That was the breakout.
Yeah. Yes, and there is a gap also which never got filled, 4,600.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
So yes, if it wants to, I mean, ES has its own mood. If we can assume it will do this, do that, but it will do its own thing. So we just follow the price. And right now the price is saying, hey, I'm only looking at 56.25 above or below, and see if it wants to give a rally, then I'll take it. If it doesn't want to give a rally, then I'll sell it at my numbers where major inflection points, how it wants to treat there. And NQ also, if you see, this had the most
even weaker.
yes, it is much weaker. The one thing I wanted to show is that monthlies are broken now, right? And when monthly is broken, or rather, see, this was your structure 1 to 3 months, and now it is below that structure, almost going below this, right? So when that happens, then this is what the reference should be, and this should dictate, what it is doing. And this is just your first month where it has come down. And if it wants, hell, it can come down all the way here till 17,000, right? So
Yeah, I think so.
be open.
16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So be open to that mindset. Now the reference point should shift from daily, weekly, and shift it to monthly. And that's where a few days ago I had tweeted that, it is trying to break this 3 monthly, this thing. ES also has done the same thing, um, 1, 2, 3, 4 months, and now it is down. And following April, we will see whether it wants to rally and test here and test a little bit above, or come down via a bearish ABC. It can do that, and it has a lot of stuff to come down to. This is your 5300, where these 3 months are the last April, so it will be 1 year. So so a lot of possibility. And right now it is resting here 5625, and then you have your 5477 to early 5400s, 5350, and a lot of stuff. So I'm just going to watch how March settles, and then how April wants to settle. It wants to bottom here, or it wants to do a bearish ABC, or it wants to continue down. We will see, so
Yeah.
that's there. And price has been going up on a bearish divergence. So this is there. Why it is coming this? Yeah. So
Yeah. So yeah, you had divergence on the weekly near the highs. You had divergence on the daily at the highs. You had
yeah,
divergence on the 4 hour. It
yeah,
was across the board. And
yeah,
Saloom didn't come in for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Well,
yes,
we dropped 10% in the S&Ps and
yep.
20%
And if
but he's back now, ready to be a buyer. Never hear about people's. You ever notice how you never sometimes hear people saying these three words? They choke on it. I say it because it happens all the time. I was wrong.
yes,
I missed it.
definitely.
I missed it. I got
Yes,
out too early. I mean, all these
yes,
things happen.
it
And if you
happens, and
think
it
you walk
happens
on
very
water, if you think you walk on water, I would get some oxygen tanks in case you go
yes,
underwater. Okay.
yes.
Uh, okay. So, any other markets besides equities that uh, mean something to you in
Oh,
here,
sorry.
Nargis?
Yes. Yeah, GC is there, it broke out
Yeah.
from the 1900, and now it's 3048.
Yeah.
So 3053 I was looking for, and it hit,
Oh, so we're there
60
now.
cents less. Yeah, and it
Yeah.
reacted, I think, right? If you see, it reacted, and it puked 20 points, and it's doing that. So I'm looking around, let's say
We're
if it holds
close.
3000 and it tries to maintain 3053, then probably it may hit 3137. And that's where, and if it hits directly, like, fast and furious, then probably that could be a bigger inflection to, at least be mindful of your profits, and maybe to see some pullback or resting, or we will see whether it is kind of short term topping for that one, around late 3000s to 3137. That's what I'm trying to look for. So I'll just, from here onwards, it will be, I divide numbers into 4 parts between two numbers, and then when it's reaching an inflection, because there is no guarantee it's like going to actually hit that number. Either it will be below that number or above that number. So I go in quarter parts, and then see how it going. So it was 3000, 3053, then 3081, then 3100, then 3137. And in all of this, I'll see, is there an opportunity to short
Okay.
gold?
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Let us
And
know.
yes.
A new
And
high here
CL,
on that 2 hour would have another new high, and you'll have a divergence on the
yes.
2 hour gold chart. All right. So what are you thinking here in crude?
In
We
crude,
bottoming or one more flush?
Crude, actually, I'm going by 69.4. Oh, see, it's back to this. It just loves this. And so far, still it is holding. But 69.4, I mean, you can relax on the decimal because it moves as the time goes by. So 69 to 69 and a half, if it is trading below it, then it's weakness, like Tesla 252 and ES 5625. That's the number I'm looking at. Below that, oil is weak and it may try to break and come down more. But if it gains here, then probably it may be an ABC to, just test back up. And from, what do you call that, 69 to 77, these two numbers, it hasn't liked above 77 much, and it is trying to stay around 69. It hasn't done much below it as yet. So between these two numbers, it hasn't decided what it wants to do. So below 69, it is weak. 69 to 77, it is a chop, and above 77, it becomes bullish. That's my take on oil, basically. So trying to keep it very simple, and trade the price based on my numbers, and that's how I'm going to do it. Instead of saying, hey, it's going to bounce, it's going to do this, and all of that stuff. This structure is, as we had talked before, very vulnerable. And if it wants to fall, then, oh my God, yeah, it can do that. But so far, it's still holding. And I know the XY 111, I remember I tweeted on this thing, it puked back from there, and it is still inside this structure, holding 103 and 201, this zone, and it's right in between, actually. See, 103. So
you sell rallies in the dollar?
I know I have not traded this. It's yeah, I look all of these as indicators, all of them. At inflections, I look at all of them, 5-6 things,
So we're
DXY,
then,
PNX.
okay, did you have any recency? Were you surprised that the dollar got killed and wasn't risk on like it has been for the past, I don't know how many
No,
years?
no, I was not surprised because you know it's the kind of moves they are doing, right? So reaction was definitely expected around 111, and it did that. So if we can see, so right now what we have to see is it done here, or it wants to, go out above here. So I'm just trying to see whether it's a test or a retest, and then what it wants to do. It's about, so right now this is your chop. See, from 198 to 111 or 114, this is the big chop zone. And, it's trying to honor the bigger supports and resistances. Let's just say that, right? So these things are very good. I mean,
that's
see,
a
right
pretty
now
ugly quarter candle, isn't it?
Yes. If you see, Dale, we hear this word volatility a lot in the markets, and people are putting out, oh, this, that, it's a crazy market, it's that, it's that. But in all of this, the indexes, the stocks, they are very good at following the numbers, right? It will be ferocious, it will be wild, but they do react at those numbers, right? So it tried to reject 56.25 a lot, and then it crossed it, and then you got that, day before yesterday, it got a nice bounce. So we are kind of getting 200 points on an average rally. So it's a day trader's dream market. If you trade futures, then up and down, you must have been very good at making money in this market if you are a futures trader. So that's also a very good thing, in my opinion. So I personally feel it's all done very nicely, very methodical, and that's why one more thing I will say here, what to look for in VIX. VIX is 26, 27. It almost hit 30, and then it scrapped down. So three numbers I'm looking: 17.5, 18.6, and 19.65. Okay, so right now the price is above 19.65, so it is pretty bullish. But once it comes down, and between 17.4 to 19.65, is a chop zone below 17.4. I believe we may get a new all-time high. Okay, because it will try to flush VIX down and the market will rally. So this range 17.5 to 19.65 is very important number. And generally VIX is a depreciating asset, so it definitely craps back once it hits whatever it wants to hit. But as long as it is holding this zone, the markets will be weak. And
so your
we'll
key
keep
number is
seeing.
what? 18 is the key number?
No, 19.65.
19.65. Okay.
Yeah. And once it, and 17.4 to 19.65 is your chop area. It'll chop. It'll try to figure out test, retest, and below 17.4, it'll try to flush, or rather S&P will try to rally. Rally and probably hit that 62.41 or maybe higher. So
okay, keep an open mind.
Keep an open mind, yes.
Yeah, keep your account open, and Nargis has some good numbers to pay attention to. Important levels. He does real nice work with levels.
Yes.
So where can people follow you?
Nargis people can follow me right here. Where's my profile? Yeah.
There she is. And there's your son. He brought to Harley.
Yes. I know. He's a grown-up boy now, 17 years old.
Okay. So does he have a Harley? Still ride a bike?
No. Harley and all he has to buy on his own, Go, do your work. Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Just like I did it on my own, you need to, I'm going to give you education. I'm going to give you good values, and you go figure it out.
Yeah, you go make the bucks.
Yeah.
All right. So Nargis does not spoil her son. Anyway, with love you do. Just not, a lot of people buy their kids by giving them stuff. Anyway, great having you here.
Great, always being. Oh, and one more thing, Dale, we talked, so God knows if you get a flush, FOMC is there. So be prepared for that combination. That's a confluence as well, right?
All right.
It has single-handedly from past 3-4 years, it has happened without fail. So who knows?
Oh yeah, that does happen. I'm thinking up until the end of next week, and I'll try a short.
Yes.
And then I'll see what things are doing, kind of like you. When the S&P's 38, 50%. I'd love a 61.8. Anyway, we'll see. The market always shows its hand. Time, the tincture of time. So thank you for spending some of your time with us today, Nargis. Really appreciate it.
The only thing is we have to see these two gaps. There are two gaps here. So if it fills this gap first, then probably it may come down to fill this gap, right? It generally attacks that. But if it fills this gap here, and then definitely this whole slanted 45-degree line can be tackled and price can move up. It has a lot to go and retest up. So,
All right. So follow Nargis, and you get some good levels to pay attention to, integrate into your and she's got a YouTube channel now, and she's got a website. Let's see your website.
It's very basic, Dale. It hasn't, I have not worked on it. And I'm trying to, So just mostly trying to work on VIX. So I think I'm mostly still on X, trying to, because that's easy. But this is something like, I thought I need to progress myself, because, I've realized that being a mouse doesn't help very much.
Being a mouse?
Yeah, being on the high, when you have such a good content and you have such good things to offer, then getting sidelined because you are not out there talking. I didn't like that part, So.
Okay. All right. Well, I wish you a lot of success with this, Nargis, and it's it's good experience for you to deal with the public, and have money be in between, have a transaction, because you're going to see a lot and learn a lot about
Yeah.
people now. I
Yes,
guarantee.
definitely.
I
And
guarantee you.
my
Okay.
yes, no, my goal is not to become a service provider or anything, but have a very small group of similar kind of people so that I tune out the noise, of many people
Yeah.
out there. So I want to only
Okay.
be with people who understand me, and they so that's my
Okay.
idea.
Okay. So you're going to vet
Yeah,
people. So if
yeah,
I could
yeah.
send you 100 people today, you don't want them because you don't
No,
know
no, no,
them.
no, 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 no. I don't know. I want to just work on my levels,
Oh,
my studies,
okay.
not manage
How
people.
about if I sent you 10 today? Would you want to take them?
Probably, and see how
You
it
know
goes,
what? I
but not,
bet
yeah,
I would take that bet that you would. Um,
yeah,
anyway, good luck with this and be patient with people. Tell them to be patient with
yes,
the markets, and be patient with yourself, Nargis. Most of all, we
yes,
lose patience with ourselves. So
I know.
good hunting,
And,
my
and
trading warrior sister.
yes, you too, Dale, and all the best. And let's try to be better traders. Let's try to be more patient in this heavy year of Mars.
Yeah,
Not too much anger, but peace out.
peace. Peace to
Yes,
you, Nargis, my trading
you
warrior
too.
sister. Uh,
Thank you, Dale.
I'll talk to you in June.
Yes, sir.
We'll have
Got it.
Nargis back in June, everybody.
Yes.
So,
Hopefully, we'll see some good numbers by then.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Or we're at 4,800 by then.
Yes, that is also a good number. Up or
Yeah,
down doesn't matter, right?
yeah. Just being on the right side. So
Yes,
people
on
are
the right side is.
people are thanking you, and everyone, you could join the dream team on the morning edge in about 14 minutes. Remember, don't just count your levels, count your blessings. Thank you again, Nargis, for coming in and sharing your work with us.
Thank you, and have a good day. And let's see what FOMC brings for us.
Yeah. All right. Let's see if Chairman Powell is nice or mean today.
I
Okay.
think the narrative is only going to be about Trump. The algos are tuned to react at the levels, and he comes and talks around that. So these two are the major movers,
Yeah.
and all the narratives are there to support that narrative, in my opinion. That's my observation I've made so far.
Okay. All right. So,
Okay.
Nargis getting accustomed, acclimated to Trump 2.0. All right.
Yes. So
Okay. I'll see everyone. What today is Wednesday. Okay. See everyone tomorrow. Thanks, Nargis.
thank you, Dale, and the team.
All
Lovely being
right.
with you guys.
All right. Thank you again, and see all your warriors tomorrow. Good hunting and adios. Peace out.
Adios.